wounded lamb.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. Happy spring. Welcome to our National Family Service. My name is Jennifer Pierce, and I'll be your host today. We're so excited to have you here to join us in what we've prepared for you and to share in what God has prepared for you this morning. With that, let's kick it off with our opening song.
For our opening song today, we'll be hearing from the LA Band in Los Angeles, California, performing the song Open the Eyes of My Heart.
Won't you open the eyes of my heart? I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, LA Band, for that opening song. Now let's head over to Hayward, California to join Miss Reimi Ishikawa, a second-year captain of GPA, for our opening prayer.
Good morning, everyone. Please join me in prayer. Dear most beloved Heavenly Parents and our true parents and good spirit world in Jesus, here are your beautiful sons and daughters gathered here before you today. God, we just want to say thank you so much for everything that you've given to us these past couple of weeks, months, and year. I know regardless of the challenges that we may be facing on our alone or even together, you are still continuously investing so much into each and every one of us, constantly pouring out your love through the amazing guidances that we're able to receive. And I know there's so much that you still want to share and express towards us, especially with these bigger visions and goals that you desire us to participate in. I really pray that with this sermon that President Alkimi is going to be sharing and giving to us today, that we can do our best to really open up our hearts and expand our hearts to receive what you really want us to do at this time. I know with these goals that you have is something that you cannot do by yourself, but you really need the help from your precious sons and daughters here. So really pray that we can recenter ourselves on you, recenter ourselves on our beloved true parents, and do our best to receive so that we can go beyond and share to your other children who you really desire for them to receive your love, Heavenly Parent. And so I pray that with the sermon that President Alkimi has prepared for us today, that we can really just receive it and do our best to share and practice it however we can throughout this upcoming week. And so once again, I really want to say thank you so much, God. We love you so much, and I want to offer this prayer up to you. In my name, Reimi Ishikawa, daughter of Henry Sachu Ishikawa of a Central family, Aju.
Aju. Thank you, Reimi. Thank you so much for your prayer. And thank you, LA Band, for that beautiful song. We're so excited to have you all here. We got some cool comments in the comments section down below, which you can participate in. Everyone's excited about spring, as am I. It's not really a problem with weather where I'm from, but I'm sure most of you are looking forward to warmer weather. Junko Hasebe says she's looking forward to creating a heartfelt relationship with each individual today. That's a very lovely sentiment. Welcome again, everybody. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. This is our international family that you've joined. Our community is founded by Father and Mother Moon, whom we call our true parents, and they have taken up the mission bestowed upon them by Jesus to help us all reconnect and strengthen our relationship with God through a deeper understanding called the divine principle, and by receiving the holy marriage blessing, which you will hear about more today. Hint, hint. If you're new here and want to learn more, you can type #connect in the Facebook chat down below, or sign the guest book on nationalfamilyservice.org. At this time, I'd also like to welcome everyone to make their local tithes. To do that, you can visit, again, nationalfamilyservice.org and click the drop-down button Local Church and go to Give. Or you can just simply type #tithe in the Facebook chat down below. We're really busy down there, so please join us. While you're making your offering, we entreat you to enjoy this beautiful song.
Let's head over to San Francisco, California for the Bay Area youth and young adults performance of an original song, I Pray Again, composed by Yoojin Moon.
Good morning. We're going to be playing a song that a group of us wrote 2 years ago. Yoojin Oppa composed the song, and then we gathered together and wrote this beautiful song about prayer, prayer to God. And so the song is called I Pray Again. So enjoy.
Thank you so much.
Wow, thank you, Bay Area Youth Choir and Band and Eugene Moon for preparing that for us. I love that performance. Diane Hack says she's going to move to San Francisco. I agree with that sentiment. And now it is my great pleasure to welcome our Family Federation President in America, Naokimi Ushiroda, for our main message today. Welcome, President Naokimi.
Good morning, brothers and sisters throughout America. Thanks for joining us today. So last week, we had a chance to cover the significance of the holy marriage blessing. And I wanted to, this week, be able to talk more on a new topic, which is Mission Possible. So, as a Heavenly Parents Holy Community, we have this seemingly impossible mission of building world peace through blessed families. And I have to be honest with you, this past week has been a bit challenging. We announced the Blessing Festival coming soon in June in preparation for Mother Moon to come to America. Now, don't get me wrong, I love her and I truly respect her, but it's just that it's like preparing a party for the Pope. You know, there's so much pressure. And for those that know me, you know that I'm not really into parties. In any case, besides the external stress, I noticed that there was something else more deep within me that was holding me back from truly being excited. I was reflecting and I noticed there's still some deep pains in my heart that needed to be addressed in order to really move forward with this project. So, when I prayed and reflected on it this week, I realized that I was dealing with feelings of fear, some shame, and doubt. As a community of faith, we faced some really traumatic crises in the past decade that almost tore us apart. I remember back in 2012, when Father Moon suddenly passed away, it was a shock to all of us, especially since he was really longing to see Foundation Day in 2013, 4 months later. For him to pass before that time was really a shock to all of us. And then soon after that, news of the senior pastor of Loving Life Ministries having a child out of wedlock came out. And there were also emergence of splinter groups led by the children of Father and Mother Moon, claiming spiritual authority over the whole movement. And I've worked with them personally myself. So these kind of challenges that we all faced, it really made me question, how can I keep my faith in our true parents and the value of the blessing when we have so many problems within our own faith community? I remember, even questioning the merit of my own blessing. And any marriage is not easy, but, thinking about what is it that kept me, what's the value of keeping the blessing myself? I know that many of my peers at that time lost their hope in the movement, and even my own parents struggled with their faith in true parents. So in many ways, it was a spiritual war zone with many casualties. And to add salt to the wounds, I remember the naysayers, many of them predicted that things like this would happen after the passing of Father Moon. So it really made me question everything that I believed in until that time. And I had to go back to my core beliefs. What did I really believe in? What could I put my faith in? If I couldn't put faith in my leadership, who could I put my faith in? So I went back to, who is God? And how does God feel about all of this? Here's a passage that I felt really reflected God's situation. Let's read. God is not seated upon a throne, receiving praise and glory. God is in such pain as he tries to save people from the pit of misery into which they have fallen, to awaken them shouting, "Come, come to me." But even though God does all that, he cannot force people to come to him. God cannot do our part for us, though he may want to. How difficult this is for God. So I realized that as difficult as it was for me, when I thought about what God was experiencing during this time, I imagined, how much he was really reaching out to each of us to hold on to our faith during this difficult time. How he's been working throughout all of human history to try to reconnect humanity. And that this was another major trial that we had to go through. But he was begging us to hold on. And then I thought about Father Moon and his heart towards God. Let's read from his autobiography, or this message. To comfort God's heart of bitter sorrow, you must attend him. No matter what cruel situations or adverse circumstances you suffer, you should be able to say, even if no one else remains, I will survive. Only with this kind of heart can you connect your life to God. So when I thought about who is Father Moon, there are many challenges that he faced in his life. But throughout his whole life, the one thing I could say with absolute confidence was he did everything in his power to really fulfill God's will and to help us connect to God and God's heart. He introduced this heart of God that was suffering, that he wasn't just a king on a throne, but that God was longing to reconnect in heart with us. He introduced this kind of God, this aspect of God to all of us. And he was really urging all of us that no matter what happens, to hold on to God. Father Moon really was such a filial son to God. And then I looked at, how about Mother's heart for Father and her commitment? Let's read from her memoir. To waken people who have eyes but cannot see. As my husband's wife, I offered devotions in remembrance of True Father every day for 3 years on behalf of all people. With this depth of commitment, I promised my husband and all the members of our worldwide movement. I will bring us back to the spirit of the early days of our church, and I will create a revival through spirit and truth. I dream of a church that feels like a mother's warm embrace, a church that is like a home where people always want to come and stay. So this is just a little bit of a glimpse of her heart, but what I got out of it was that she was a filial wife to Father Moon, and she was also a filial daughter to God. That no matter what difficulty may have happened, that she is still committed to fulfilling God's dream. As difficult as it was for me and our membership, imagine how it was like for Mother Moon. With her husband passing suddenly, her children kind of going against her or claiming authority. What kind of difficult road she must have crossed in order to decide to keep going. But she did. And she committed to not only continue this path, but to create really a community, a Heavenly Parents holy community, where we can feel a mother's warm embrace, where people always want to come and stay. And she was really able to live up to this role as also the mother of peace. She continues to say, "This is my husband's dream as well. Honoring him, I made the decision to dedicate myself to God and all of humankind even more than before. Since that hour, I have never fully rested." So I remember, what really got me out of that time of this crisis of faith was when I was reminded of God's dream, that throughout all of human history, God's been longing to do this. And when I asked the question, who among all the leaders in the world, among all the people I know, who was doing the most for God's will at that time, I could not deny that Mother Moon was leading the charge. And that Father had laid that foundation as a true filial son to God. And that was what gave me the hope and the faith to keep going, because Mother stood up and continued this path. I want to share this video chosen. Some of you may have seen it before, but I really feel that this sheds light on their journey.
Has sought to go beyond race, religion, ethnicity, gender, and culture. He is perhaps the most misunderstood, misrepresented, maltreated, and maligned person on the face of the earth. But that only is the stuff that makes him love all the more. He loves his enemies. He lives for the sake of others, and no cost is too great in order to bring back the family of God. He has committed his life to restoring us to God's true love, God's true life, and true lineage, so that we look upon each other as brothers and sisters, one family under God.
Yeah, every time I watch that video, it really moves me to see the kind of life that they led. More than anyone else that I know in human history, they've helped us to understand God's suffering heart. And also, more than anyone, really reaching out beyond borders of different religions and nationalities and culture, really bringing them together through the marriage blessing. So I really appreciate, especially for Mother Moon stepping up, and especially in that very difficult time, she stepped up and took the baton to continue to lead our community. One thing I also want to mention before we go into the plan to build the kingdom is that through this process, I realized that, we're far from perfect. We've have our issues. But the point is that we are holding on to God's dream and that we're working on it. And it's okay that we're not perfect. We're the ones who need to continue to build that and get many more people to join us so that it can speed up the process in building God's kingdom here on earth. And one thing, we were able to survive that kind of trial, like the most difficult trials. And this is a time of tremendous growth. I don't know if for those who invest in stocks, that, stocks go up and down. But the best time to invest is right when the stock is near the bottom and it's about to go up again. That's the best time. So this is kind of really what I feel is that the next 7 years is a year of tremendous growth and opportunity. It's definitely a time that I want to encourage everyone to participate in. So what is the plan to build the kingdom? Let's go into it. Here are some words. We need to build a family centering on the love of true parents, true husbands and wives, true brothers and sisters, and true sons and daughters. Next, we need to expand ourselves horizontally, multiplying into families in all directions. When these families manifest themselves as true families connected to the levels of the tribe, society, nation, and world, this world interlinked by true love will be the kingdom of heaven. So, in other words, what we need to do to build the kingdom is really to expand the blessing movement. And I want to explain just a little bit in detail how we're going to go about doing that. So first off, imagine this blessing movement. We are going to empower all singles to live a blessed life and discover true love by teaching piety and purity. One of the most important things is about developing our filial piety towards our own parents, our own community, and ultimately our filial piety towards God. And as singles growing up, we want to encourage this aspect of purity within our relationships in preparation for marriage, that we're not experimenting or getting into self-centered or premature sexual relations, but we're preparing our hearts, learning how to love others altruistically, learning how to work with and share and respect all kinds of people in preparation for our commitment of love to our future spouse. And also for those who are married, we really want to empower couples to experience the blessing, to renew the marriage and really center their marriage on God's love. Here we want to encourage all families, all couples to really strengthen their fidelity towards each other, really think of God first in their marriage, that it's not just about my love or attraction to my spouse, but it's really being able to see my spouse from God's viewpoint, that each person is a child, a son or daughter of God, so that we need to really learn to love our spouse as a divine daughter of God or divine son of God. And I know it's easier said than done. I confess I'm not there yet myself, but imagine a community that's continually striving to treat each other in such a way. And through the blessing, we'll also be empowering families to secure a blessed lineage, really creating a culture, kind of an environment for their children where they can grow up in experiencing true love in their families. And we'll also be empowering clergy and community leaders to learn how to share this blessing with their communities. Imagine not just the Family Federation, but Christian clergy and even all community leaders, civic leaders, being able to give and officiate the blessing to really empower their community, their youth, their couples to center their relationships, strengthen their piety towards God, strengthen their fidelity with each other as couples. That's the kind of multiplication that we plan to see. So the Blessing Festival is coming in June, and we want to really engage as many people as possible to connect with this blessing movement in preparation for the celebration together with Mother Moon. Just imagine, what parent wouldn't want their children to learn about filial piety and learn about purity? What spouse wouldn't want their spouse to keep fidelity? And what community leader wouldn't want healthy and happy growing families? So this is what we have to offer as a Heavenly Parents Holy Community to society and the world. Is really sharing this blessing. This is going to be our core product and service for the society. And we want to really strengthen and build our ability to deliver on this. Let's just read a few more slides here. The blessing is wonderful because the more you share it, the greater it becomes. So I'm asking you to become heavenly tribal messiahs. By becoming tribal messiahs, blessed families can work for the sake of the nation and the world. We can realize the peace that humanity yearns for and actualize the kingdom of heaven on earth, one family under God. So this is really the plan to really serve our society, is simply to strengthen our families through the blessing and the culture of heart, and to share that with as many people as possible so that this can expand from our own families to the society, our nation, and ultimately the world. So sounds simple, but I know that reaching out is challenging. So I wanted to share one secret today, one secret to outreach. How can we overcome the fear of outreach? So I know it's out here. It says chaksarang. This is a Korean term. And we had this discussion over breakfast, Dr. Young and I, after morning devotion on Tuesday. And we were reflecting on some key points that he shared. And this term chaksarang really jumped out at me. And in English, it's unrequited love, which another way of saying it is one-way love. And Dr. Young was sharing that chaksarang is the kind of love that God has been giving humanity throughout history, that he's been loving us all the time, and we really didn't love God back. I know it sounds kind of sad. In one sense it is. But if we were to practice this chaksarang in our outreach, I feel this is the secret. Because if we commit to loving as God does for us, there's no fear of failure. It's a one-way love. We're not expecting people to respond or love us back. We are simply practicing this one-way love, unrequited love, just love, just share the blessing. Regardless of how they respond, that's not the point. We're here to really be a mediator for God, to share this blessing to as many people as possible. And if we're committed to this practicing chaksorang, then again, there's no fear of rejection. So this will give us really a chance not only to outreach, but also we can join in God's journey. We can connect in heart with the kind of experience God has had throughout history in loving us and reaching out to us. So in conclusion, I just want to say that each of you are so precious to God and to our true parents, more than you know. Thank you for being here. Thank you for holding on. I know at times it seems like creating a peaceful world is impossible. And I know that we've experienced this challenge and we still experience challenges. I mentioned this before, but I know we're not perfect, but that's not the point. The point is that we were exposed to God's dream, God's heart, and we are really determined to continue to invest and build God's dream, a peaceful world where all families can love each other as one family. So let's build this world of peace, one life, one love, and one lineage at a time. Let's walk with God and actively participate in this blessing movement. And let's transform this mission impossible to mission possible. May God bless you and your family this week. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Naokimi. What an amazing message. There's lots of love for you in the comments. If you're feeling love for Naokimi, hit that heart. We really appreciated your deep and vulnerable message today. Let's take another moment to reflect on the question from President Naokimi. What inspires me most about the blessing movement? Let's take a minute. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for taking that time. At this time, I'd like to welcome up some live reflections. I'd like to welcome up Mr. Michael Dickerson and Jasmine Santoro to join me here and share some of their thoughts after hearing President Naokimi's amazing talk today. Welcome, guys. Glad to have you here. What did you think today, Jasmine?
I'm really grateful for this message. And I think especially the point about a trial being our best chance to connect with God and true parents. I think personally, it was something that I felt I could relate with. I think a memory that came up for me actually was not too long ago is I'm learning how to share about God and what true parents have taught us on my college campus. And I remember meeting someone and really having this desire to share with them about God, about true parents' vision. And I remember getting rejected really easily, by this other person. And I remember looking at myself feeling, a little bit of pain or like kind of disheartened. But I remember having this prayer and I don't know, it was this moment of this is how God feels, like so often reaching out to us. And it's, when I think about it now, it's so interesting because when I think about it, it's no longer like a memory of pain, but I'm really grateful actually for that memory. And it's become kind of precious for me. It was like this moment where I could understand God a little bit more, or understand, just growing more familiar with God and relating with him. And yeah, I think it's really amazing. Even, sometimes looking at the news, it can be disheartening, or we see what's going around. But I remember also recently having that scenario and praying again. And what really came to mind was gratitude, like this immense gratitude for true parents, and the vision they give us. And I think even more than that, it's like, it's amazing that it's not an abstract vision. It's not something we're trying to conceptualize, but it's more like immediate. It's like we can see this in our family. We can try to replicate this, through the blessing in ourselves and in our families. And so, yeah, I think I'm just really grateful for the Hope True Parents Spring, and I'm really excited for True Mother to come, and continuing to practice chaksarang. I think that's something I have to work on next. So I'm really grateful for that point. So thank you so much now, Kimi-san.
Thank you, Jasmine. Already practicing that chaksarang. That's really awesome. Uncle Michael, I'd love to hear from you, your thoughts today.
Yes, thank you, President Akimi, for the incredible sermon. Very deep sermon. Mission Possible. I know that when I first joined the movement, we talk about rejection, you talk about keep going on no matter what, and persevering. I've had different times where, I felt like, wow, is this going to change? Are things going to get better? It's like, what's going on anyway? But some things came to my mind. I grew up in a Baptist church, and Philippians 4:13 comes to my mind. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And also 2 Timothy 1:7, for God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. That was my mother's favorite Bible verse. So in keeping this in mind, it strengthens and bolsters our faith. And Father said this, he said, the true measure of a man is not found in comfort or convenience, but in controversy and conflict. We find ourselves in that position oftentimes, and I think that it rings true what he's saying. And this particularly at the time of the blessing festival coming up June 26th, and this is the time where we can truly show Jeonsong. We can truly show our Hyojong, and the Jaksarang that God has been giving us, it's not going to be unrequited. It's going to be returned. That love is going to go back, what we've learned. And so this is a time where we are chosen. That video, every time I see that video, I'm just totally, it brings me to tears. You talk about uncontrollable tears. So chosen for such a time as this, we have the victory. And we will be victorious because we have the manpower, we have the means, we have the technology, which we're using today, and we have the blessing. So we have the victory. So having said that, I'm inspired by what President Akimi, his sermon, and everyone that I come in contact with, I want to share the blessing with and bring heaven to earth at this time.
Amen.
Because we have the opportunity to do that with our true mother who's leading the way. And I'm inspired, encouraged, and empowered by all that I see and hear. We have the victory, brothers and sisters. So stay strong. Stay strong, okay? God bless.
God bless. Ju, I definitely resonate with what you said. And I think for me, what President Naokimi's sermon came up was that just reflecting on my own course these past 7 years and how going through all of those difficulties, but seeing Mother just stand up so strong. And we know she was suffering. We know she was taking on the most of the hurt, but just to see her there really made me want to continue and I couldn't let go looking at Mother. And I'm so grateful for all of the things. She made this incredible, she rebuilt our movement, and she brought us all here. So I'm so grateful for all of you heroic brothers and sisters who are listening, and of course my two panelists here. And thank you guys so much for joining me today on this panel.
Thank you.
Before we close, I'd like to remind us all of the challenge of the week. It is to share the blessing movement with 3 people this week. Share about the blessing movement with 3 people. Yes, so I hope we can all do that. And let's go to our closing prayer.
Now let's go to West Covina, California, to join Mr. Ernesto Gomez, Latino Ministry Coordinator for the West, in a closing prayer.
Let us pray. Our most dear Heavenly Parents, at this time we come before you to express our gratitude for your love, the gratitude for the love of Father and Mother Moon to our humanity, the gratitude for Jesus who gave his life 2,000 years ago, that we might be alive in these precious times today. Thank you so much, Heavenly Parents, for giving us this precious life, especially at this important time in history. We want to develop a strong faith that can face the trials and tribulations that might come in our way. In our life of faith, we want to become the people that can inherit your dreams, God's dreams and through parents' dreams, to create a world that will be based on true love, the culture of true love. Thanks again, Heavenly Parents, for giving us your love, for creating this precious life to us. We're also very grateful for our leaders here in America. The race is on to save this nation, to make these nations again to become the beacon of life for the world, for the nations in the world. And through the blessing, as President now Kimi was sharing with us today, that is the plan, because through the blessing, we can really make a culture of love of this nation, of societies, and the whole world. Thank you so much, Heavenly Parents, again, for our leaders who are putting their life on the line every day to bring us this precious message and this precious task. We believe that we can save this nation of America. We can touch it. We pray for our unity as brothers and sisters centered in our beloved true parents, and especially our true mother at this time. I offer this prayer and all our names of the blessed central families that are working to build your kingdom here on earth. Ernesto and Hiroko Gomez, blessed central family, Aju. Amen.
And for our closing song, we're going to Kona, Hawaii to hear Reverend Chuck Fruman's original song, There's a Change Comin' for Good.
There's a hurricane coming where you once stood. Better grab your things and pack 'em up. There's a change coming for good. There's a tree in my backyard, a tall, strong ironwood. No wind can blow it down, no matter how strong. There's a change coming for good, coming for me and coming for you. There's a change coming for good. There's a prophet at my door, doing what he said he would. Make it on through, and your wish will come true. There's a change coming for good. There's a caravan coming for the misunderstood. All can come along, they're leaving at dawn. There's a change coming for good. Coming for me and coming for you. There's a change coming for good. Coming for me and coming for you. There's a change coming for good. There's a change coming for good.
Amen. There's a change coming, and it starts with all of you, brothers and sisters. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're so happy to have you here with us. We hope you gain something and can, keep up the conversation with our community. There's actually, if you love what we're doing, we'd love your support. If you type #coffee in the Facebook chat down below, or visit nationalfamilyservice.org and click the Give a Coffee button, you can support our ministry and we can keep doing what you love right here. You can also meet up with your local families. We have meetups all over the country available. To find an online meetup near you, go back to that nationalfamilyservice.org and click on local church to get to local meetups. I love these coffee mugs. If you've gained something meaningful today, please share the link of this sermon to other people, your friends. This is a great way to share about our blessing movement, and it can fulfill your challenge of the week. And we'd love to have more members hear from us and be part of our family. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Sunday right here at the National Family Service. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.